This topic, I'm already laughing. Just because if I title it what I think I'm going to title it, then yeah, let's get into it. Hello, I'm Araya, and these are my doggies. You see Aslan, my Kangal puppy, Arlo. They're so cute. Duchess, my cat, is somewhere, don't know, planning world domination. And we're here in Portugal. And it is still quite stormy. And I share that just because we've been having these wild storms for like 2-3 weeks now. I don't know. It literally feels like I'm in a portal and no one knows, because from what I understand and what I've been seeing is that this just isn't really being like reported. There's probably some reasons to that, but there's probably also the reason that there's so much chaos everywhere. We've been having these solar flares. We've been having, all types of geographical natural disasters, energy shifts, truth coming to the light, and a shift in consciousness. I don't want to say like a timeline split, because we've got a million timelines going at once. We've got all the timelines. We've got infinite timelines. Whatever timeline you perceive is when all the timelines collapse into one timeline, and then that's the timeline that you're on. And we have a collective timeline. We also have pendulums, which keep us confined in our timeline that we perceive. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. I definitely, and have always, since I've started this channel, and I think right when I started it is when I was reading Reality Surfing. Recommend it highly. There's different versions of Rustling of Morning Stars. That is the one that I read. Gave me a really good concept of pendulums and how to change the pendulums in your favor so that you live a life that is what you desire and that is not controlled and part of someone else's narrative and system of enslavement that is rooted in service to self. So that's what's being exposed right now in the world, right? We are seeing literally so much darkness be brought to the light in a fashion that is designed to continue controlling, to continue splitting and dividing and causing polarity and causing emotional distress and making it side versus side and anger and all these things. But it just brings me to what's coming through the most right now, which is just the best way to, I don't want to say best, I think that the way to navigate this in a fashion that allows you to not be controlled and to stay in your sovereignty is to move forward with acknowledgement of what is happening, remembrance of the truth of who you are, the love and abundance that you truly are, the infinite being that you are, and continue to fill your life with so much joy and so much gratitude, and to follow the curiosity. I was just listening to like a quick clip on Joe Dispenza, and he was talking about just the power of gratitude and why it's so important to root in gratitude all the time. And like we know this. If you're here, you know this. You know the power of gratitude. But I think it's a reminder for all of us. It's like if you are radiating at negativity or just like in more of a survival state, and then you try and go into your like visualization and your affirmations, you don't have as malleable as a platform pretty much to receive those new frequencies as you would if you were in gratitude, because gratitude has the voltage that allows you to like go into your field. I'm not explaining that the best, but it like opens up your field because it is, I believe, the highest frequency. I think that there's different levels of understanding the highest frequency, because the most expansive frequency has been shown to be authenticity, but then love and gratitude have been shown to have the highest frequency. On a different topic, berries have the highest frequency, and food, pork, has one of the lowest frequencies. You can look at all into the frequencies. But going back to following your joy and following your curiosity, it's what I've been teaching for 2 years now and repeating nonstop, because I think that that's It's all we gotta do is just follow your joy, follow your curiosity, be grateful for what you have right now, and then fill your mind and your body with the emotions of the life that you desire to be living right now, and move forward that way. And that allows you to stay in your sovereignty, and allows you to not be enslaved and entrapped in this like vicious cycle of fear and lack and worry and guilt and shame and embarrassment and all these things that keep you in that system, in that pendulum of being a slave. And I don't like saying it, but it's true. And there's different layers and different tiers to that enslavement. But when you read the Law of One material, it talks about how service to self entities, their goal and mission is enslavement of others. And in many ways, that's what our reality is. It's like program. This is our history. This is exactly how history happened. This is what you have to do. You need to get a job. You need to go in the system. You need to be this way. You need to be good. You need to be quiet. You need to be obedient. You need to be You can't show your emotions. Like, it's all a little cell. Like, they're prisons, like little tiny prisons, just like all the different timelines. It's like all these prisons, and then when we look at our life, it all collapses into one, and you wonder why you feel like this, like all the time. And it's just because of that illusion that has been programmed into your nervous system and into your subconscious, that you are trapped, that you must be trapped, that you must be good, that you must be obedient, that you must be controllable. You're an infinite being. You're an infinite being. And you're here to have a human experience. And you're here, I feel, to be on the journey of ascension in human form on Earth. That's the planet that you chose in this timeline to experience this next level of your own evolution as a fragment of the one infinite consciousness. And so all we're here to do is to continue ascending, continuing to become more and more harvestable. The Law of One talks about how we become harvestable, and that is by being more in service to others than service to self. And so how can we be in service to others? You are in service to others when you are in your joy. When you are radiating your joy and you are moving through reality in your joy, you are helping others. You are brightening the day of others. You are bringing joy to others. Authenticity being the most expansive frequency. When you're in your authenticity and you are just exploring all the things that truly make you curious and truly make you happy, that is contagious. I share this all the time, but when I look at all the people that I follow online, that I have been for maybe a decade with each individual, they are all so different. Different religions, different spiritual beliefs, different political beliefs, different lifestyles, homesteading, living in luxury, traveling by van, traveling by sailboat, like literally all over the board. Can you hear that? Probably not because of the mic, but there's some chaos going on out there with the wind. And what has really been irking, is that the right word, irking me, is this spiritual fucking community. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I've been trying to find the words for it, and it keeps showing up for me in different ways. And I'm really actually enjoying exploring the curiosity that I have on this topic. And so I have a friend, and we caught up the other day on the phone. And he's a good friend. And we were talking about his life and his interests and the interests of just like spiritual communities in general. He's like, why aren't you into ecstatic dance? Why aren't you, he like complimented me, and I casually like complimented him back. And I'm aware of the like deflecting compliments and that meaning like, oh, you can't accept compliments. And he's so sweet, but he's like, are you having a hard time receiving compliments? And I was just like, one thing after another, I was like, shut up, and I adore him, but because it's just, you become in like a little prison, even in the spiritual community. Even in like this open love and abundance, love and light community. Like the ecstatic dance, to me, it has never called me. I've been around it. I dated somebody who was like in that. He was a conscious musician and like friends with all those people that make that music. And like I'd go to his festivals and went on tour with him for a little bit and like got to see the world. But my body was saying no, 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 no. And the cuddle puddles, we were talking about cuddle puddles, they're cuddle, and this is not from a place of judgment, this is from a place of my own experience. If you feel good in these and you feel like so joy-filled and like truly in your authenticity and like truly in alignment with what your body wants, then so be it. For me, it was not that. And so like I went to these groups, these festivals, and there was often these cuddle puddles, which all of it was a shock to me. I had no idea what I was going to. I just was going to support ex-boyfriend. And so the cuddle puddles, it was like my body was like, no, no, no. My gift on earth is being very sensitive and being very empathetic and being able to pick up on people's energy. The thing that comes with being an empath, as many of you guys know, is that you have to decipher where you are in all of that. And for most of like the adult or childhood life and early adult life of an empath, you don't even know who you are in a way, because you're just like, you're thinking that you're a collection of everything around you and all the people around you. And there's almost like there's no border of your being versus another's, because you take them on to relate to them and to understand them and to feel into like what the conversation is feeling like for them and what your words are landing like. And like it's such a gift, but oftentimes we can lose ourselves in that. And so to be in a cuddle puddle with like a bunch of people I don't know and a bunch of their stuff that they haven't resolved, because we're all just having this human experience, I just was taking on so much. And I was like, this is not my job to be in this cuddle puddle and be like a light warrior for all these people, even though they're all filled with love and light too. It just did not feel in alignment with me. And then also like the ecstatic dances, when I was answering his question, I was like, I don't feel the need to do that in that room. It was the same way that I was feeling about this breathwork ceremony that I did in Bali, where we were all in a circle. It was probably like 100 of us. It was very powerful and like super memorable, because it was like kind of traumatic, but also it is what it is. And so you hold hands with all these people. And what I've felt in that is that you're not only processing your stuff, but you're processing the stuff of the collective there, which is a beautiful thing if that's your intention. But a lot of people go into that for the intention of like having their own breathwork experience. I think it's the same thing with going to ecstatic dance. It's like you're opening up so much, like becoming so open. And unless you're really aware, like being an empath, of putting up your protection layer so that you're not taking on a bunch of stuff, I don't feel that it's like the safest energetic thing to do. And it's like the same thing when you're pulling tarot cards or oracle cards. Some people have talked about how that opens up like a portal pretty much. And if you don't intentionally close it after or like put protection around it, it can be a portal for negative energy to come through as well, and like all this stuff. So you have to just, I feel, be very cautious of what you're doing energetically, who you're spending your time with energetically, how you're opening up. And what was so fascinating was that I have this call with my friend, and then I went to this like event here in Portugal where you go up and you tell stories. And so like you sign up for it and most people are just listening to the storytellers. And the theme of this one, are we still on? Yeah, the theme of this one was I said yes. And so it was all over the board, but it was so fascinating how these stories, the first three, mimicked identically pretty much what I was talking with my friend about on the phone call right before I went. And the first one was like ecstatic dance and ayahuasca and the spiritual community and like chasing these highs and like just consistently trying to reach that place again and again and again through more psychedelic experiences, through more, ecstatic dance, through more of these spiritual practices, which are beautiful and wonderful and all that. But at the end, this storyteller shared that what he's really been craving this whole time, and the reason why he went on this path, is because he wanted a partner, and he wanted a family, and he wanted a home, and he wanted grounding. He wanted to have that. That was what he was really desiring. And instead it was like he was almost like feeding a dopamine kick a little bit each time going another route, which is totally fine. And then the other story was talking about the body, and she was sharing like a very deep, raw, vulnerable, and slightly triggering story, a very triggering story for a lot of people. But she's talking about how her body was saying no, but she kept saying yes. And so that has been so relevant for me too. It's like, especially navigating spiritual communities, and especially navigating life in general after being in isolation, living rural on farms in Italy and Ireland for the last 2 years, living in a hay barn, stranded on an island for 5 months. Like, I really was in the void for a while there, and being hatched in a way. And now I'm navigating being in society again, and going to these events and having plans and making friendships and going to an improv class and like all these things. And I'm trying now with intention to listen to my body. It's like I'm rebuilding for the first time from a clean slate, and in this way, like a social life and whatnot, with rather than like on the farm in Italy, like we were getting the people were coming to us. It was always very busy. There were always, different dynamics and everything, but the volunteers, they would come to us. Divine intervention, God would say, you should go volunteer at this farm to someone, and then they would come, and then I would learn, like the phone call that I just had with that friend, he was a volunteer on the farm. That's how we met. But now I'm going out into the world, and I'm connecting with people, and I've left the hermit phase, and maybe that's relevant to somebody. So it's like we're going back in, we're connecting with the world again. And now more than ever, like this has been coming up a lot in my most recent videos, is like my body will start sweating, or it will say no in different ways. And I'll try and listen to that more than ever before. And so that story was just a confirmation on that front. The other story that was in the first 3 there was somebody talking about friendships and about saying yes to friendships, and how there's this like fragile time in the beginning of a relationship. And I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I think that this is also really important right now, because community is very important, especially with where we're headed in this direction on Earth. But in the beginning of a friendship, when you're really wanting to build a connection with somebody, it's like a very fragile time when you first have just started to get to know each other, because if you don't nurture the relationship enough and you don't have enough to hold on to together, then it can fall apart and you guys just go your separate ways. But if you make enough memories and have enough context in the relationship, you have something to build on, a foundation to build on, stories to reflect on together, and ways to connect. And so hers was all about saying yes, of course, like when the body is saying yes and all that, and to make these fun, crazy, wonderful, wild memories together with somebody that you desire to have into your life. But sometimes when we're, just navigating, coming out of the hermit phase, the mind, the nervous system will tell you, no, don't go out. It's easier to stay in, because it doesn't want to go into the unfamiliar. Sometimes we fear connection with other people because we're afraid to be seen. We're afraid to be hurt. We're afraid, to leave our nest. But right now, I think is the time to challenge that and find the way to navigate challenging that, leaving the nest, but also listening to your body and not letting yourself get sucked into these things that look all shiny and bright and love and light, if it's not really what you're desiring. Like this storyteller was desiring a partner, kids, a home, but was chasing it in the wrong directions. And so what has been really helpful for me recently, something I've been prioritizing, is looking at not the end goal, because I'm not really sure what I want my life to look like when I'm 80. And I could probably think about it, but I'm more so thinking what I want my life to look like in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, not like the typical 5-year plan, but just that's easier for me. So looking at that, like, what is it that you truly desire? And are your decisions in alignment and supporting becoming that? And if they're not, and you're putting your energy towards things that are, you know, just holding you back and keeping you away from going into the unfamiliar, how can you change that? And how can you shift that? Because right now, I think is like, I don't know, the most important time on earth, but it is the time, I think, why we came to earth. This is the time of why we came to earth. And now more than ever, I think it is the most important thing for you to truly get to know yourself and to truly honor yourself. I think that's like the underlying thing of all of this is you don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to be whatever someone else wants you to be. You don't have to be good. You don't have to behave. You don't have to, like, I mean, of course, follow the laws and all those things, but like, you don't have to be what the pendulums have told you that you have to be. You don't have to be what you've been conditioned to think you have to be. You can be whatever it is that you truly desire. That thing, that vision that's on your heart, that is what's meant for you. That is what is living right now within the quantum field. There is a timeline where it is happening right now, and it is available for you. And I feel that it's like the most potent time ever to make that your reality. And we do that by focusing on gratitude and making ourselves super open, and then bringing in those emotions of what that timeline has and feeling them right now, and then allowing the joy and the curiosity to be the breadcrumbs. And so there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And just to touch again on this new age thing, because it really wasn't so much, the message wasn't so much about that. But I think that in that conversation I was having with my friends, and in some comments that have come through recently, and just in my thoughts that I've been having about the spiritual community and, like, you know, navigating where I want to spend my time here in Portugal and whatnot, it's just that there's so many even rules in that idea of being the most healthy and enlightened and like all this stuff. And one of my favorite things that I saw recently kind of on this topic was that there was this millionaire who spent, I don't know, like millions, I think is what the example was, a year on biohacking and being the healthiest version. And his life expectancy was, I don't know, like 95. It was lower than the Italian dude. And these are just kind of like rough. These aren't the exact numbers or details, but the Italian dude who's like smoking a cigarette a day, drinking, you know, aperitif and is in community. And so there is no right way to be the healthiest version. There is no right way to be the most spiritual person. There is none of that, right? And when we try to be that, we try so hard rather than just like listening and letting life guide you, then we get taken away from the whole point of having this human experience. One of the comments that I got recently on a video, I think the last video, was like, your higher self wouldn't wear makeup, you do. I don't know what it was that I was called. But I was like, how would you know that? Like, did you talk to my higher self? Did my higher self tell you, when I go down to human form, I will be all natural and like I will not wear makeup if I'm going to be the most enlightened version of myself? No, I think that's bullshit. I think that if you want to wear makeup, wear makeup. If you want to dress up, dress up. That's all part of the human experience. That doesn't make you less spiritual. It doesn't make you less spiritual to do the things that bring you joy or make you feel good and like bring you through a timeline of exploring your curiosity and your creativity. Be whatever the fuck you want to be. Don't let other people tell you it's not spiritual, it's not healthy, it's not like, you know, listen to your body. Your body will tell you. When I had a podcast for a short time, I interviewed somebody from this conscious community. There are wonderful, wonderful people in these communities too. This is just like a higher experience of that time in those groups, but like individually I met a bunch of amazing people. And one of these people I interviewed because he had Lyme disease and he was like in the hospital, felt like he was dying, all this stuff. And the podcast is not up anymore, by the way, but he felt like he was dying, all this stuff. And the way that he was able to heal was he would meditate on the symptom and he would like see it in his mind, and then he would see it almost like melting into his heart. He would invite it into his heart space, and then he would wait for the image to come into his mind, and he would get like, he got an image of a glass of wine, and then I think he found that resveratrol was like very helpful for Lyme, and then he saw a pencil, and I think that there was something about like the graphite or something, like something in the lead of the pencil, which was also beneficial for Lyme. And do your research on this. Like this was years ago, so I'm trying to remember his exact examples, but then he ended up taking those things in supplement form, and like he was on tour and like performing on stage, and he has kids and a wife, and like he's all better. And so that was an example of like your body knows. Your body knows more than the outside world. And what reminds me of my health journey was exactly this sequence that I just had the other day, where I had the phone call with my friend, and everything that we talked about was then mirrored back to me and confirmed back to me in that story time event, like a few hours later. And when I was going through my health journey, I was like working as a yacht stew, and I would listen to podcasts all day, like trying to figure out why I felt like I was dying. And I would hear these podcasts where I was like, I don't even know how I clicked on it. Like, and same thing with YouTube videos. I would just randomly click on a podcast, randomly click on a YouTube, and it would have all the information that I needed for that time. It would match the thoughts that I would have. It would connect the dots that I was having. That was what was so cool about this storytime event, was that they were all so all over the place, like so diverse, these stories, and people from such different walks of lives. But just listening to their stories, each one of them, except for the one about strippers. I don't think I found myself in that one. But like every single other one, it connected dots for me that I didn't realize like I was waiting to connect. So we are all interconnected. And so when you navigate life in that way, through your joy and through your curiosity, in a place of centeredness and your gratitude, you can then have this experience of profound synchronicity that guides you to exactly where you are meant to go based off of whatever desired timeline you have chosen with your free will. Rather than thinking you have to be something else, taking on the thoughts of other people, allowing yourself to go down those thought forms of negativity and fear and guilt and shame and worry and all the things, because that's what someone else has provoked you to feel or think that you have to feel in order to be connected with others, but it is your choice. And you are allowed to be okay right now. You are allowed to be filled with joy right now. You are allowed to be free. You are free. You are love. You are infinite abundance. Everything else is an illusion. And you can wake up from that illusion whenever you choose. I think that's all that I have for you today. So if you want to join me in any of my programs, I have Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis, you guys. I don't even have the words for Nove. So Nove is my app, which is the evolution of the method that is found within Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis. So if you want to get started in Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis, it's still only $29. And I try not to say only because I know we're all in different financial situations and whatnot, but I lowered it significantly because I wanted anyone to, mostly anybody, to be able to join it. And so it has the method in there of how you use your own voice to program in your dream life while you're sleeping and unravel the subconscious blocks. The reason for using your own voice is so profound, and it is something that was downloaded to me. And one of those things that I was like, oh, this is really big. And then I keep seeing synchronicities over and over confirming that. But what I was thinking was, when I was doing a hypnosis, I was listening to the voice and I was like, this voice is someone else's voice, and it has so many, now I'm getting like a throat block on that. It has, hopefully that wasn't so loud in the mic. It has so many layers of that human being, that spiritual being in a human body, it has all of his unresolved stuff, all of his like shadows, everything, all of the good, all the lessons, all the codes, all the things, which is wonderful. I think that that can be like super beneficial if you're called to do someone else's meditation or hypnosis. Maybe they do have something that you're meant to take on. But especially when we're in our sleep, it's such a vulnerable time and your brain is so malleable for being programmed. I was like, we should use our own voice because that has our own frequency, and then it offers that technology, pretty much a brain mirror. I think this might have been really long because I just got a notification that it had to stop because it was so long. It doesn't feel like that long. I'll wrap it up. But I went on a journey of brain retraining or brain healing when I was chronically ill, and I did Saraset and brainwave optimization, which uses the technology of brain mirroring, so your brain can hear itself and see where it's stuck. And so by using our own voice, I feel, and I have been guided to explore, that we can do this in a much cheaper way than paying thousands for those treatments that like how I did. Your brain can listen to its own voice and recognize it and be like, oh, that's that block that I have vibrationally within the voice, and then it unravels the blocks in your sleep. It's been so powerful, so life-changing for so many people. I still have to update the sales page because I have way more testimonials and feedback to put on there. But Nove is like, it's so much more than just sleep meditation or sleep hypnosis. It is so much more. There are so many cool features that are now a part of it, and it will be live soon. And go ahead and sign up for my email list if you would like to be on my email list. I'm going to send out an email soon for soon. So like, I think areas of me to like not be able to be like this exact date, but also type B. But if you're on the email list, I'm going to send out an email, and you will be invited to be a founding member of it once I'm ready to invite you guys into that. And there will be like a community of the founding members where you guys will have access to it. You will have the founding member price for a lifetime, and we will kind of do like a first round of trying it out and then like sharing our experiences, and you guys can give me feedback. You can tell me, if you would like anything different, and we'll go from there. So I'll send out an email soon about joining that, and we'll have like calls and stuff to really touch base on how the journey is going in Nove. So I'm super excited about that. You guys can join my 21-day programs. I have those all linked below as well. And that is all. I will see you in the next video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel so much. You guys have been doing it recently, and it has been making such a difference. So because I was kind of like in the shadows for a while. So also, if you have a hype and you want to hype this video, that really helps my channel. Leaving a comment is very helpful as well. So if you want to go ahead and leave a comment, let me know what you thought of this video, any experiences that you had with the video. If you want to leave a comment and you don't know what to say, you can put a wolf emoji. We love wolves here. And make sure to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Sometimes, you think that you're subscribed on YouTube, or, sometimes I find that YouTube unsubscribes me, or maybe I just never subscribed, I don't know. But checking and subscribing if you would like also helps. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video.